Today, as we transition out of the research phase of this paper and into the writing phase, you need to make sure that your note cards are substantial and that you're not going to have to keep going back into databases to pull information out. We're going to try and avoid that as much as possible. So the first thing to take into consideration when you think you're done with your research is the number of note cards that you have. If you're looking at 5, 6, 7 note cards, I'm going to probably be a little bit concerned that you don't quite have enough material. Because remember, we need to be able to pull things out of those note cards, and we're not going to use every single piece of information we have. So that's the first thing to take into consideration. The other thing to consider is, do you have a healthy balance of information between the past, the history, what your topic's all about, who invented it, why it was invented, the present, what's been going on with this concept in the last 5 to 10 years, how has it evolved, and then the future, which is where a lot of people get stuck, right? What's the future of this technology? Where is it going down the road? Is it going to improve our lives? Are there things we should be mindful of or afraid of? How will it evolve? Those kinds of things. So by the time you're done with your research, you really want to be becoming an expert on the topic so that you can sit down at the dinner table and have a real thorough conversation with your parents about this topic. You're welcome to go ahead and go into the Google Classroom stream and open up the claim statement. But at some point I'm going to come around and just make sure that your note cards are beefy enough and that you've considered all different avenues of research before you really get into the writing phase. So call me over, but if I don't get to you right away, just go ahead and start working on the claim statement and I'll come to you as soon as I can. Okay, so when it's time to write the claim statement and outline the body paragraphs, we're going to do this in a couple of steps. The first step is that I want you to write your claim. And I want you to think that through before you submit it, to be reminded that we're going to be trying to prove whether the technology that you have been researching has made the world better or worse. So I have a sample claim here. The Google self-driving car will revolutionize the driving experience in the future and should be pursued as a safer and more efficient form of travel. One of the things I want to remind you of as you think that you have written a really, really awesome claim is all of our claim rules. So your claim is not going to be able to be super short for this paper. Something like nuclear power is good will not be a strong enough claim to sustain you through a 2 to 3 page typed paper. So you want to make sure that your claim has a little bit of meat to it, and also make sure that you're checking this area in the worksheet and ensuring that your claim statement fits all of our rules, that it's 1 sentence in length and that it stands alone, that it's written in the third person voice, and obviously that it ends with a period. If you submit a claim to me that doesn't fit these rules, I'm probably going to be a little bit concerned that you don't remember them. Then, once you think your claim is ready to go, I'd like you to go down to the bottom half of this worksheet and outline what you want to be proving in your body paragraphs. This is not the full outline that we're going to use for our body paragraphs, but I just want you to think through the information you have and how you think you're going to use it and organize it. Something to be mindful of is that these body paragraphs should probably move in chronological order. So you should start your first body paragraph with something that has to do with kind of the background, the history on your topic, right? When and why was it invented is what I'm using for the Google self-driving car. So a little bit of an overview of where this idea came from. And then you want to move into the present. So for me, how does this work? What's the technology behind the Google self-driving car? Also going along with the present topic and information would be my third body paragraph. What's the safety track record and so far for the car, and what are any future concerns? Which is kind of creeping me into the future, but what I really want to know for the future is, when is this going to become available on the mass market? When do we think that the majority of cars on the road are going to be Google self-driving cars? You'll notice when you do this part of the worksheet that there are 3 body paragraphs that I think you definitely need to have. That's the bare minimum. One would represent the past, one would represent the present, and the final one would represent the future. But I also have added the optional body paragraph number 4. I think a lot of you are going to have a 4th body paragraph, and I think a few of you are going to end up with a 5th body paragraph as well. If you start creeping into 6 body paragraphs, just come and talk to me. We'll kind of talk about whether you need them or how you could more efficiently organize your body paragraphs. So once you are done with the claim statement up top, you've checked to make sure it fits all of our claim rules, and you've kind of given me a little bit of an outline of what you want to prove with these body paragraphs, then you'll go ahead and turn this worksheet in. Before you turn it in, though, I just want to ask you to make sure that, like, body number 1 doesn't just say the past. I want it to have a little bit more oomph to it, a little bit more meat there, so that I know kind of what you're thinking about the past specifically. So if you say the past, maybe include the history, who invented it, why it was invented, and how it was used years ago. Something along those lines, so that I know that you have a good amount of quality information to use. Once you submit it, I will take a look. I'll give you some feedback and let you know if I think you're ready to move on to the next step.